It's the start of a new month and our pantry is as full as it's going to be getting this month. I usually do a lot of my shopping at the beginning of the month, and I am definitely needing to tidy it up a little and adjust my organization of our pantry to suit our present lifestyle. While I'm doing this, I thought I'd share a few of the ways that I put our pantry to work for us, just to help us to easily throw meals together throughout the week, and I'm hoping it might be helpful for you all as well. I organized our pantry in a similar way starting about a year and a half ago, and I found it's made a huge difference in how often we eat out and what kind of meals we're able to make, because I'm able to see with a glance what we have. The first thing I do when planning a meal is find a filler or a base. The easiest to reach eye level shelf I have made full of quick meal options, things like mac and cheese, hamburger helpers, and different sauce packets that will help create a great starting point or foundation for a dinner. I generally start planning a meal around the starch because it's generally the largest component of the meal, so the second easiest shelf to see actually has more of our starches on it. It has pasta, potatoes, and sweet potatoes. I would stick the rice we have on this shelf too, but we buy our rice in like a 50-pound bag, so that'd be kind of heavier for a higher shelf. I'd be afraid it would break under the pressure. Starches are what creates the bulk of the meal for a lot of people, so they're generally relatively inexpensive and they fill us pretty well. After I determine the starch, I like to add a protein. Now, the protein can be anything from beans that you can see on this next shelf to meat from the freezer or some canned meats or canned tunas. I like to use this duct tape as well just to label things. It adds a really easy, really quick way to label everything so that others, if they're helping you out with putting away groceries, know exactly where to put things. Next, I add a veggie or even a few veggies. We have plenty of canned vegetables as well as frozen and a few fresh vegetables in the fridge, so there are plenty of options. The fourth thing I like to do is add what I would call a flavor maker. It can be a sauce or a condiment, a seasoning packet, just to set the flavor profile of what I'm making. For example, a can of cream of chicken soup is an easy way to bring a meal together. So is teriyaki sauce, a lot of marinades or gravy packets, and these can easily add a lot of flavor, and especially if you're not sure how much or which spices to use to add good flavor to a meal. I'm still learning spices, so some of these spice mix packets can be really helpful if you're still learning your way around the kitchen, and a great combination because they already have that balance of several spices added to them already. The last thing I like to add to meals is what I like to call pizzazz. So basically it's the cheese that you put on top, or crunchy topping like breadcrumbs, crispy onions, crushed chips or crackers, crushed nuts, anything to add a fun touch of texture or richness. As you can see, we're a bit low this month on crackers and chips. They're just too expensive right now, but we will still have some breadcrumbs, shredded cheese, and other things as a good option. It's important to make your spaces serve you too. For example, when I realized I had this basket up here that was just collecting random clutter because it was dedicated to items we don't tend to have on hand lately, I went ahead and just adjusted and put the crock pot, which we are using more often, on that shelf. At the end of the day, it's all about making your space work for you, making meals with what you have and filling in gaps when you're able to. So by arranging my shelves according to how I think of meals, it really helps me to see what all we have and get more creative in what I make for dinners. Some dinners will be hits and some may be misses, and that is what makes meal planning an adventure. And this is what we wound up with at the end. It's not Pinterest worthy or super fancy, but it doesn't need to be. What it needs to be is functional and easy to use for our lifestyle and easy to adapt as our needs and budget changes. I feel like so many videos now have beautifully arranged pantries, and don't get me wrong, I love watching those videos, but I know our pantry wouldn't look like that just because we don't have the space or the budget or the need at the moment for a lot of things I see on the shelves in those fancy pantries, and that's okay. I know I have to look at what we use and have the budget for, and then create my pantry around that For us, our current budget and the time we have to dedicate to meals, we have plenty of food, but it definitely looks different than most pantry arranging videos I've watched, and that is also okay. Whether you have a walk-in pantry or 2 office cabinets stacked on top of each other like me, as long as we're able to make a healthy meal after a long day at work, our pantries are serving us well. I hope these tips have been helpful and that seeing my imperfect pantry maybe has helped release any pressure you may be feeling to measure up to other standards. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.